Do you want to know what it is? The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now, in this very room, you can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
So it's a great question, isn't it? As we learn more about science, are we living in a matrix, a virtual reality, a cyber world, if you will? I've really, over the 13 years writing Learning Earth's Deathly History, which came to me in a dream, by the way, I explore this, and I think I do a wonderful job, giving myself a pat on the back of explaining how it would be possible. Just extrapolating the science that we have now into the future, especially the virtual reality. If you haven't seen my book yet, this is the cover. It's The Great Ship of Knowledge. Let's see. Never good at this. Learning Earth's Deathly History. It's about 500 pages. I will share the link where you can get it and share a little more about the story. But I'd like to give you some facts when you get into, looking at our universe at the quantum level. Let's see if I can do this. See, I got a new green screen today, so I'm in the matrix. I'm sorry, guys. I got to do this really quick. I got to remember how to do the green screen now, so I can change the background. At the atomic level, if I can get out of the way for a little bit, if you can see that, move my chair. There we go. It's an atom. 99.99999% of atoms are empty space, as you can see. That's what our world's built out of. I call them virtual world pixels. And then, it's more of the, there's a short section in the, it's not that short. It's the front matter. Brian Lupo was complaining about it, but he liked it. It's called, I don't know if you'll be able to see that. There you can. The Geometric Progression of Technology. And it takes you through technology from, 80 years ago to where we are now and where I expect we'll go in the future. And this book plays on that. And it plays off the matrix, if you will. Oops. A little bit there. So anyways, let me share one other screen here real quick, then we'll get into it. Green screen. So these would be the great ships behind us. So the geometric progression of technology, which is in the front matter, it's not part of the story. It's just it sets the stage to understand the technology that could make a matrix type environment where we are right now. If this was if it ends up being true that we're in a matrix, you follow the virtual world technology into the future, and there's going to be a point where the gaming world is going to be able to put us in the matrix. I mean, we're going to be sentient beings. We're going to be able to touch, feel, smell, love, hate, emotions, bleed, die. So, if you follow through, you would think, well, what would you do with that technology? If mankind truly had that technology, what would they do with it? And I believe I've come up with a scenario in this book that makes the most sense. And it would be for us to live through how humanity destroyed Earth, to learn the mistakes, to live in health and disease, in poverty, in wealth, to see the world as it was and to live through it. And in my book, I play on this technology, thinking, let's just imagine that we're young kids, okay, and we're at school right now, okay, we're learning Earth's deathly history, and we grow up a lifetime here. But you can manipulate time in the virtual reality. So even though I'm 60 years old, my true physical being is only aged maybe weeks, months. So this book plays off of that. It's a great story, by the way. I mean, buy the book. You'll absolutely love it. So if I can get out of the way here, how can I do this? That would be the great ship of technology, the hammerhead shark. That's the great ship of knowledge. So in the book, we are on these ships that are 1,000 light years from Earth, still not out of the Milky Way galaxy, by the way. The Milky Way galaxy is that big, monstrous. Maybe we made it to the outer edge of the Milky Way galaxy. So as these great ships that have been sailing for 1,000 years, mind you, approach this new world where we're going to inhabit and colonize, the great intellects, if you will, decided after they destroyed Earth and rebuilt it, which was a miracle in itself, before it was ultimately destroyed, and they sent what the remainder of life off, for this new planet. The life cells came on as the ships approached this new planet, and we're born on these life cells. So even though we've lived, for instance, me, 60 years here, we've never lived on Earth, and we're living in our virtual lifetime 1,000 years in the past when the planet was ultimately destroyed and they had to abandon the planet. So these great ships, the Great Armada sailed through the Milky Way galaxy for 1,000 years. And as they approach, we're closing in on our new home. The life cells came on, we were born. And then a computer program is allowing us to learn Earth's history. And the reason behind this is that we're going to hit the ground running. So we're going to wake up young, but with the knowledge of a lifetime. We're all going to have our skill sets that we learned here. Plus, we're going to learn. Unfortunately, we're going to live through World War III and see the planet destroyed, how humanity ultimately destroyed their home because they couldn't do the simplest thing, love one another and live together in peace and harmony. It's not complicated, but, everybody's got a little evil in them. And unfortunately, some just can't contain greed and, all the things that make people do wicked stuff. So I'll just read the through the 3 parts, and I'm going to try to keep this video down to 15 minutes if I can. So it's an alternate reality sci-fi thriller. If you believe in the simulation theory that our universe is a hologram, a virtual reality then this speculative fiction high-octane adventure is for you. In the future, people no longer read books to learn about the past. Instead, they experience history by virtually living through the historic times like they were actually there when the monumental events played out. But the future is here. And we are learning Earth's deathly history. Our spirits are immersed in a virtual reality built to perfectly simulate life on Earth in the early 21st century. We are here learning the cataclysmic mistakes of humankind that ultimately destroyed Earth. Part 1, The Journey In, sets the stage for learning Earth's deathly history. Our incredible reality is explained, including the mighty armada of starships, where our factual bodies are kept in individual life cells. In Part 2, Learning Earth's Deathly History, we tragically witness the horrors of World War III, including the unholy post-apocalyptic nightmare that follows. The virtual reality history lesson eerily mirrors current events happening in our ideologically divided world. Maybe that is why this scenario, which cascades overnight into a full-on nuclear world war, is so believable. No other story paints such horrific suffering and disturbing post-apocalyptic scenery of the last war of humanity. Totally true, my friends. It's a dark book, the middle of this book. And the scenario that ignites World War III is totally believable. If you've ever wondered what would really start World War III, because everybody wants to live. You know, Russia doesn't want to get in a nuclear world war, neither does China. I mean, we'll evaporate the world, right? But in this scenario, it would actually happen, and it's believable. And I really try to write believable scenarios, okay? In the middle part of this book, you could really, I mean, it's not science fiction, it's fiction. It's the meaty part of the book. The beginning and the end of the book are obviously science fiction. In Part 3, the awakenings begin. Our virtual reality history lesson ends when we dreamers are spiritually awakened only to discover we have never actually lived on Earth, nor are we anywhere near the dead planet. Even more amazing, we discovered we were born and living in massive starships parked 1,000 light years from Earth. Once awakened, get ready to take an adrenaline-pumping thrill ride into outer space to tour the fleet of great ships before arriving at Grand Cosmic Station. Learning Earth's deathly history is a virtual reality post-apocalyptic sci-fi journey unlike anything you have ever read or watched. And I am a sci-fi geek. And when I wrote that, I mean it. You will never experience another story like this one. It's an incredible journey. It's important to read the front matter of this book. Just don't jump to chapter 1. The epiphany tells how I had this bizarre dream that this story was born from. And the geometric progression of technology starts with my dad. I was at work with him around 1971, holding up this wooden stick with like a V, if you can imagine. And there's a string stretched across this, and it comes down here, and it's pulled. It's in a loop into like a steel pressure clip. So you pull them bows in, and it string pulls in taut. And he took, I don't have an envelope here, but he took an envelope, his hand typed train orders, you know, old ribbon typewriter, right? Put the flap of the envelope over the string with 2 paper clips. And there's a long handle on this Y-shaped tool. So we ran out in front of the depot at night, you know, lights are on, and he holds that stick way up, and the engineer holding his arm, you know, like this out the starboard window of a locomotive at full speed snatches those orders out of the string, out of that tool. So the train didn't have to stop, and it would be more efficient. You know, it just kept going. This was the technology, some of the technology that was used in the early 70s. And so I, as a kid then, I was born in 61. I was probably 10 years old then. I've watched this technology blossom, just unbelievably fast in my lifetime, in our lifetime. People, I know people living today that were around with horse and carriage were common transportation. They had ice boxes that held blocks of ice to keep their refrigerators cool, milk and stuff. They witnessed the birth of the Model T and the roar of horses' hoofs going around a dirt oval to Indy cars, to rocket ships, to all this state of the art stuff, and it's happening at a pace that's just unbelievable, unprecedented, and it's happened no other time like this in humanity's history. So read the front matter of the book. It's very important. It sets the stage for the whole story. It'll all make sense to you. And I'm a visual writer. I'm really good at detail and painting a picture for you. That would be my high point. It's just in sci-fi, you need to have that skill. And I've been told several times that my descriptions are just incredibly vivid. So just show you a couple other things here I want to share with you. So at the beginning of the book, Dr. Deters, a character you will meet, the great fleet is coming. The space aquarium that is a giant force field for the armada of ships. And this would be Dr. Deter in the starship behind you, his spacecraft. And he's going to record this monumental event of the great ships arriving to the new world. And I designed that ship. It's a stingray-shaped spaceship. Folks, I'm not a very good artist. I basically took the undercarriage out of a stealth bomber, if you can see that. So and I put it in outer space, but just to give you a visual of kind of Dr. Dieter's spaceship without going into a lengthy description. And then let's see here. So you're gonna go through World War III, and it's a horrific part of the story. It's a full-on nuclear world war, and the aftermath is beyond disturbing. I think I take people to about as dark a place that you could ever be in. The world is dying. I mean, it's done. We've destroyed it. One other visual here I can share real quick. The cities are gone. Life is we're heading for certain extinction, and that's going to be where part 2 ends, and then the great part of the story takes over. When you're just people are dying, they've got cancer, they just want to kill themselves. Many do, and the virtual history lesson ends, and we're awakened. Now, for all you science fiction geeks, this is what we dream of, right? We're in a virtual reality learning Earth's deathly history, and we're going to wake up in all that technology that we see in science fiction movies. We're gonna be there. We're gonna experience it. We're gonna use it. And so I don't want to give away a lot because I think part 3 is just a wonderful part of the book. I'm one of these people that I don't like when evil wins. I hate movies where evil wins or stories. Loved George Orwell's 1984, despised it because evil won, right? The totalitarian state broke Winston and was it Julia? There was no, it was just so sad. And unfortunately, I think we know where our country's heading in that regard, huh? What else can I share here real quick? I'll share that. be in the heavens and just these mighty starships with all this future technology. And I've got a very futuristic thought process on technology that would exist, 1,000 years into the future, especially when things are snowballing like they are now. So back to the Matrix. I got one more. This book will red pill you like no other book. I can promise you that. You will end, when you end reading this book, you're going to really question the makeup of the reality of our world. Like I said, 99.99999% of atoms are empty space. That means, folks, 99.99999% of everything you see that you think is physical, the world, the universe, everything, doesn't exist, shouldn't be there. The other thing, and I go in this in the front matter, the geometric progression of technology. You've never physically, none of us have. We've never physically had contact with anything in this world. At the quantum level, atoms repel. So even though I'm pushing my two fingers together right there, at the quantum level, they're not touching. The atoms repel each other. When you sit on a jump in a recliner, lay out in a hammock out in the yard, you're floating by infinite, teeny tiny, mega microscopic space, but still it's a space. So I love this idea that we're virtually learning history, because I like history. But I hope you buy the book. You'll enjoy it. I can tell you there's 35 ratings right now. With the exception of 2, they're all 5 stars. One's a 4-star, and the other one, somebody apparently doesn't like me, because I know they like the book, is only a 2-star. I guess somebody could have got the book that just doesn't like sci-fi, but you'll thoroughly enjoy the story. I can promise that. So I'm going to leave the links in the description. Please check it out. I know a lot of folks that follow me here on YouTube have bought copies. I'm sending autographed copies out every day. I will put that in the link if you want a signed copy. I will sign it right there to you or whoever you'd like it to. If you got someone in your family like Sci-Fi, I'll give you the directions. PayPal me $25. Make sure you put your address in, people. If you don't put your address in, I can't mail you the book. So when you PayPal, put in the notes for a signed copy of the book, and if it's just your name on there, I'll know to sign it to you. And if you want it signed to someone else or mailed to someone else, if you're buying it for someone, and just put their mailing address in there and what their name is, and I'll take care of it. Otherwise, I will leave my author website. It's thegreatshipandknowledge.com. I should have done this already. Right here. www.thegreatshipandknowledge.com. You can read about me, my biography, see some pictures of Renee and I have been married once. My wife and I met in 1980, our high school year. We graduated together, and we're still blissfully married today. And there's a page there to tell you all about the story, my biography, some pictures of Renee and I, our past history, and then the link to get the ebook, which is $4.99, or the paperback, which is $19.95 or something on Amazon. If you have Amazon Prime, you'll get free shipping on the paperback. If you have Kindle Unlimited, you can get the ebook for free. Otherwise, if you don't like Amazon and you don't want to deal with Amazon, I know some people won't. I will put the link in there for you to PayPal me and to email me, and I will send you a book directly from me, and it won't be through Amazon. So that's it. Hope you enjoy the story. Hopefully I wasn't too long-winded, but please check it out, thegreatshipandknowledge.com. Thank you.